Is your fantasy team struggling with free throws? We might have a couple of tips here to give you a hand coming up next on Beat the Odds. Don't go anywhere. Hello, sports fans. Welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. We're going to take a look here to see if we can help you improve your team's free throw percentage, whether you're having a struggle with this over the course of the year in a points league, or you're just not winning your matches here on week to week. We have a couple of trade candidates that you should consider, as well as some players you might be able to find off your waiver wire that can help you out with that predicament. Now, of course, a couple things to go over before we get started. If you're a fan of these type of videos, please feel free to like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done so. Hit the notification button there as well, so that way you don't miss an episode like this down the road. Also, we do have a couple of notes with regards to how we compiled this list. First off here, we're going to be looking at trade candidates that you can go for. The ranking for these players are all going to be below 30. 30 or less, I should say. So it's going to be very difficult to find somebody who's going to be higher. We're not looking for trades for like Kevin Durant, for example. We're going to be looking for guys that you may be able to package in a deal to be able to get here a little bit easier than that. The other thing is, of course, if you're unable to find a trade partner, we're going to be looking at the waiver wire for players who are owned in 60% of leagues or less. So that way we can take a look to see if there's any gems off there that can help your team there as well. Now, the final concept, of course, is a weighted average. This comes to play here when you're looking at free throws. A player, for example, who shoots 95% from the line but only takes 2 shots a game is not going to move the needle quite so much for your free throw percentage for your team as somebody who might shoot 88, 89% from the line, but is going to take 5 or 6 shots per game. So that's something that we keep in mind there, as well as how much impact that the specific players that we're going to be giving you on the list is going to have to help you out with your free throw percentage for your squad. Now, with that all out of the way, let's get started here. We're going to look at some point guards. In Toronto, we're going to look at Fred VanVleet. He has 87.7% free throw percentage here and 4.4 attempts from the line. He's also a solid source of 3-pointers made with 2.8 per game. His assist-to-turnover ratio is pretty solid here too at 3.21, and he's getting 1.6 steals per game there as well. He is going to hurt your team in field goal percentage quite a bit, actually. He is very underwhelming at 38.2%, quite a bit below his career averages here. Now, he's not really a efficient shooter to begin with, but that mark will certainly hurt you. So you have to keep that in mind. If you are going to be going after VanVleet, make sure that you've got lots of stocks of players who excel in their field goal efficiency. Up next in Cleveland, we're going to go with Darius Garland, 86.7% from the line here, 4.8 attempts. He's going to be a very high impact player here to help you out with your field goal percentages. He's also going to help out in 3-pointers made with 2.5 per game. And he's averaging 7.8 assists per game there as well. It's a good mark. Not really much of a rebounder. There's a lot of trees in Cleveland that will pull down rebounds here, so Garland doesn't need to really be doing that quite so much. He averages 2.6 per game, so you're not going to be looking for rebounds from him there if you do decide you want to go after him. Point guard, you might be able to get off the waiver wire here. You should take a look at Bones Highland, 84.5%. Free throw percentages here in 2.1 free throws per game. Not a whole lot of free throws there, so he's going to be kind of a low to medium impact player for that category. Good percentages though, of course. He also is averaging 2.4 3-pointers made per game, so that's going to help out your squad there in that category. But he's a bit of a drain on field goals and stocks. 39.4% field goals percentage here, and then of course 0.9 stocks per game. Those marks are not exactly great, but of course this is somebody that you can find off the waiver wire in most leagues. Up next, we have Tyler Hero, 91.7% free throw shooter on 3 attempts per game. So that's a medium to high impact player, based solely on the percentages. He also is going to average 3.3 3-pointers made and 6 rebounds per game, which is really high for a guard. He turns over the ball a little bit too much here for my liking, 2.5 turnovers per game, so you're going to want to keep an eye on that there. He does distribute the ball there a little bit. I think he's about 4 assists per game, but that assist to turnover ratio doesn't look all that great. So he needs to clean that up there a little bit, and then, you know, he wouldn't really be much of a risky player to try and go after. Up next, we've got Anthony Simons, 89.7% from the free throw line on 2.9 attempts. Another medium to high impact player there based on the percentages. He's also a really good three-point shooter here at 3.9 per game. And he's going to give you a little bit of a drag here in field goals and rebounds. He's averaging 3 rebounds per game and 43.7% from the field. So somebody, again, if you're looking to help out on your free throws, he's going to be a great person to go after, and he's going to really give you that bonus to boost your three-pointers made. But there are some risks, of course, by picking up an Anthony Simons. Somebody off the waiver wire to consider here, we got Derek White from Boston, 86.3% from the field on 2 attempts per game, so a medium impact player, pretty solid percentages. He's a kind of across-the-board solid but not spectacular type player for fantasy circles. 3.1 assists to turnover is a good mark. He's got 1.6 stocks, which is a really good mark for a guard. His field goal percentage is 44.8. It's not terrible, but it's not great. And he doesn't get a whole lot of shots. I think he averages about 7 to 8 shots a game. So you're not really going to get a whole lot of scoring out of Derek White. Of course, again, they've got the scoring figured out there between Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So really with White, you're looking for glue guy kind of stocks. Up next, let's take a look at a small forward here. Desmond Bane in Memphis, 92.2% from the field on 4.8 attempts. So lots of attempts here and a great percentage. He's going to be a very high impact player for field goal percentage, somebody that I would suggest looking at picking up here if you can. He's also going to help out on your three-pointers. He's a bit of a sharpshooter that way, 3.2 per game. Not exactly pulling down any crazy stock numbers there at 0.9 per game, and his field goal percentage isn't all that great at 43.6% either, but certainly somebody who can help turn around your field goal issues here if you can target him in a trade. Up next, we got Mikal Bridges from Phoenix, 89.1% from the line on 2.5 attempts per game. Medium impact player in that category. 2 stocks per game is really where you're going to kind of benefit from him there as well. He's a really good defender. He's not really going to offer a whole lot in the rebound and assist totals. He's averaging 4.5 and 3. Not terrible totals again, but not exactly something that you're going to be looking at him for help for your squad. But he's certainly a good player to pick up here if you're looking for somebody who's going to hold the fort down for your free throws. A player that you can pick up off the waiver wire here, let's take a look at DeAndre Hunter, 82.3% from the field on 3.4 attempts. He's a medium impact player for free throws. He's going to be a solid source of points. He's averaging 15 per game. And he's not a super spectacular type of player, not flashy at all there. Actually, I was kind of shocked to see that he only has 0.6 stocks. I thought of him more as a 3-and-D. His field goal percentage is a little lackluster there as well at 44.8%. Looking at some power forwards now, we got Brandon Ingram in New Orleans, 86.8% from the line, 5.1 attempts per game. He's another very high impact player. That's a very solid mark to get for somebody you can plug in on your power forward spot. Now, of course, he is injured. We're waiting for him to get back, but I imagine that he's going to be getting back to these normal type of numbers once he hits the floor, which should be in the not too distant future. He averages 4.7 assists per game there as well, so he has the ball in his hands quite a bit, which is going to be good for that total there, but he also is not very good at keeping the ball out of his opponent's hands. He turns over the ball at a pretty high rate, 2.8 turnovers per game. Up next, we're going to take a look at Philadelphia here. Tobias Harris, 87.5% from the line on 1.8 attempts. So not a whole lot of attempts for him. So he's a low to medium impact player, but he's certainly going to hold his own here with his percentages. 49.4% from the field there as well is really going to be a big benefit for somebody who shoots threes. And he averages 1.2 steals a game too, which is kind of nice. He's a bit of a drag on rebounds. You'd like to see more than 6.1 rebounds per game coming from Tobias Harris. And of course, he doesn't block a whole lot of shots here, 0.5 blocks per game. So I'm going to pick up off the waivers. Here we're looking at Trey Murphy, 91% from the line on 2.1 free throw attempts. That's a pretty solid mark here from the line for somebody who plays power forward. It's actually a really great mark. So he's a medium impact player in that sense here. 48.1% from the field is also a really good mark to see there as well. So he's looking to be kind of a pure shooter. 1.1 steals is a nice mark there too for somebody who's not playing full-time minutes. He doesn't, of course, average a whole lot of rebounds, 4.2 rebounds per game. Again, he's not on the floor a ton. And Brandon Ingram, of course, we mentioned earlier there, he was injured, which gives Trey Murphy a lot more opportunity to get some minutes. So once that kind of changes and Brandon Ingram's back on the floor, we may see some differences in the volume that Trey Murphy will be putting up. Taking a look at some centers here. In Chicago, we got Nikola Vucevic, 85.3% from the line here, 1.9 attempts per game. The attempts are quite low for a center, so really, even though he has a really good percentage, he's still considered a low to medium impact player here for free throws. He is certainly going to help you out in three-pointers made, though, with 1.7 three-pointers out of the center position, and his rebounding is top-notch at 10.3. He turns over the ball a little bit too much here for a center for my liking, 1.9 per game. You'd like to see that get closer to the 1 mark for that not to be an issue. And then up next in Miami, we got Bam Adebayo, 83.3% from the line on 5.3 free throws per game. That's a large amount for that type of percentage for a center. So he's a high impact player in that category there. He's also going to help you out with rebounds at 9.8 per game, but he is going to struggle with blocking shots at 0.7, and he turns over the ball way too much, 3.1. We'd like to see that number come way down. And then last but not least here, we'll take a look at a center you can get off the waiver wire. We're looking at Marcus Morris Sr. He's available in 48%, he's owned in 48% of leagues. At the line here, he's 80.4% and on 1.6 free throws per game. So another low to medium impact player in that category. He's going to help you out with three-pointers made at 2.1. That's a good mark to get for a center. And then he's not really a true center in the sense that he's going to be pulling down a whole lot of rebounds. He only averages 5.1 per game. And his field goal percentage is pretty atrocious for a center as well at 44.4%. So just be aware as what you're going to get here. If you're looking at picking up Marcus Morris Sr., he's going to really help you out with the free throws and three-pointers made, but not a whole lot else. And that's going to do it here for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this here. Please make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for future content. But that's going to do it for this. We're going to sign off for now, and we're going to catch you guys on our next episode.